Hello, church. It's great to be with you. Thanks for joining us again. Today we're going to talk about how God answers the heart from Matthew's Gospel in chapter 22. So let's begin by reading, beginning in verse 15. It says, "Then the Pharisees went and plotted together how they might trap him in what he said. And they sent their disciples to him along with the Herodians, saying, 'Teacher, we know that you are truthful and teach the way of God in truth and defer to no one, for you are not partial to any. Tell us then, what do you think? Is it lawful to give a poll tax to Caesar or not?' But Jesus perceived their malice and said, 'Why are you testing me, you hypocrites? Show me the coin used for the poll tax.' And they brought him a denarius. And he said to them, 'Whose likeness and inscription is this?' They said to him, 'Caesar's.' Then he said to them, 'Then render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's.' And hearing this, they were amazed, and leaving him, they went away." Now, tax policy is not the point of this passage any more than it was really the point of the Pharisees' question. And as much as it might surprise us, even the idea of rendering to Caesar what is Caesar's and to God what is God's, even though it's the Lord's command and it applies to us, it's still not really the main point of this passage. I would suggest to you that if you read the entirety of chapter 22 and chapter 23, in the midst of which this passage is set, you're going to see common themes that would suggest that the point of this passage is something more like how Jesus interacts with the hypocrisy at work in the hearts of his opponents, and how that hypocrisy at work in their hearts brings ruin to them ultimately, and to those who are influenced by them. So for today, what we're going to do is we're going to explore the fact that Jesus answers more than their question, he answers their heart. And so in our passage, the first place that we see the hypocrisy at work in the hearts of Jesus' opponents is in the nature of this question, right? The Pharisees are asking a question, but they're really not looking for an answer. They're looking for a result. And that's hypocritical. They're not seeking to understand. They're seeking to trap, to malign, to destroy. They weren't looking for the truth. Ultimately, they were looking for a way to avoid the truth, especially as the truth related to themselves. And now we come to the climax of the passage in verse 18. So let's read that again. It says, "But Jesus perceived their malice and said, 'Why are you testing me, you hypocrites?'" Now, this is where we see Jesus first and foremost answering the human heart. Others may have been taken in by their charade, but Jesus certainly wasn't. And so it is also with us as we encounter Jesus. Underneath all our pretenses, all our games, all our demonstrations, all our rationalizations, under every word we speak and under every action that we take, there is this fixed reality of what's happening inside our heart. And this is what God knows and answers. One ancient writer, I love this, said of Jesus' response, he said this, he said, "He makes an answer not corresponding to the smooth tone of their address, but harsh, suitable to their cruel thoughts. For God answers men's hearts and not their words." God answers men's hearts. Wow, that's Christianity. In fact, that's what the gospel is. The gospel is God's answer to the broken heart of mankind. You see, there's no end to the good that can come out of a good heart, and there's no end to the evil that can come out of an evil heart. And that's why God answers the heart in the gospel of Jesus Christ. Christianity is a religion of the heart. God doesn't want our stuff. He doesn't want our best performance. He wants our hearts. Jesus didn't come to give us a new set of rules. He came to give us a new heart. And so the gospel invades the heart. It conquers the heart. It reforms the heart. It reorders the heart. And as everything inside the heart is turned right side up again, the rest of life begins to be turned right side up again as well. Now, there are two kinds of response to this heart invasion that the gospel seeks to accomplish. One is to continue pretending, to continue with pretense. And that's what we see the Pharisees doing in this text. In fact, they were so good at it that almost no one could tell. But the other response to the gospel is to quit the pretense, to let the light of the gospel shine on the dark recesses of our hearts, and to deal with what it exposes there. Now that's painful, but as we yield our infirmities to God in view of the gospel, He heals our infirmities. He makes a new heart within us. And so as I reflect on this passage, I think about this is what the death and resurrection of Jesus is all about. Why continue hiding? Why continue pretending when I know that my sins have already been found out? There wouldn't have been a cross if my sins hadn't been found out. My sins have already been found out. But not only have my sins been found out, they've been dealt with. That also is what the cross is about. And they've been dealt with so that I can come out of them and into a new kind of life, a life that will outlast even my mortal body because of Jesus' resurrection. This is the gospel. This is God answering. He has already answered the realities of the human heart in the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is our faith. And so don't hide from the realities of your heart. Preach the gospel to them. Now, if you're willing, as we conclude, I want to encourage you to pray this way to God. Here I am, God. You know what's going on in my heart. You know what the realities are there. Lord, I'm willing to let go of the pretenses and the insincerities. I pray that you would forgive my sins for what they truly are, and that you would make me new again, make me whole. Because I know that I have wronged other people and that other people have wronged me, I pray that you would help me to make it right with those that I've wronged, while at the same time extending your grace and your forgiveness to those who have wronged me. And all this is in Jesus' name. I hope that this has helped you, and until next time, God bless you.